Let's dive into our next set of phrasal verbs, Sarah. I'll explain each one with examples to ensure you grasp their application and usage.
I'm ready, Mr. Davis. What's the first one?
The first phrasal verb is tuck in. This can mean to securely place the edges of a blanket or sheet under the mattress when making a bed or preparing someone, usually a child, for sleep. It can also colloquially mean to start eating, especially with enthusiasm.
So, if my mom prepares me for bed and covers me with a blanket, she's tucking me in? And if we're about to eat a big meal and she says, tuck in, it means we can start eating?
Exactly, Sarah. It's about securing something snugly or beginning to eat. Next, we have trim down. This usually refers to reducing something in size, amount, or numbers to make it more manageable or attractive. For example, if someone is trying to lose weight, they might say they're trying to trim down.
Like if I have a paper that's too long and I remove some parts to meet the word count, I'm trimming it down?
Precisely. It's about making reductions to improve or fit certain criteria. Now let's talk about touch up. This means to make small improvements or corrections to something, often to its appearance. It's commonly used in the context of painting, makeup, or photography to refine the final result.
So, if I have a photo and I adjust the brightness to make it look better, I'm touching it up?
That's right, Sarah. It's about minor adjustments or improvements. Lastly, we have tie up. This phrasal verb has several meanings, including to fasten or secure with a rope or cord. It can also mean to conclude or finalize something, such as a deal or agreement. Additionally, tie up can refer to occupying someone or something completely, leaving no free time or resources.
If I'm finishing all the paperwork for a club at school, I'm tying up loose ends?
Exactly, Sarah. It's about securing, concluding, or fully occupying. You've done an excellent job with these phrasal verbs. They're quite useful for describing various actions and processes. How do you feel about them now?
I feel much more confident, Mr. Davis. Your examples really help. I'll practice using them.
I'm glad to hear that, Sarah. Practice will indeed make perfect. Keep using them and they'll become a natural part of your vocabulary. Ready to explore more phrasal verbs?
Yes, I am. These lessons are really helpful, Mr. Davis. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Sarah. Your eagerness to learn makes teaching a joy. I look forward to our next session. Keep up the fantastic work. Hey, Casey, have you decided on what you're wearing to the wedding next weekend?
Yeah, I picked out a suit, but it needs to be tucked in at the waist a bit. It's a bit loose.
That makes sense. You want to tuck in your shirt properly, too, for a polished look. I need to trim down my suit pants. They're a bit long.
Good idea. I also noticed my dress shoes are a bit scuffed. They could use a quick touch-up.
I can help you with that. A little touch-up polish and they'll look as good as new. Also, I've been trying to trim down a bit at the gym, hoping to look my best for the wedding photos.
You've been doing great. I've noticed the effort you're putting in. As for me, I still need to tie up some loose ends with the hotel booking for the wedding night.
Oh, right. We should definitely tie up those details soon. Last-minute bookings can be a nightmare.
Absolutely. I'll give them a call this afternoon and make sure everything's tied up.
Great. After we tuck in, trim down, and touch up everything, we're going to look sharp. This wedding's going to be a lot of fun.
Couldn't agree more. It's all about the details, right? Thanks for helping me get everything sorted.
Anytime, Casey. It's what friends are for. Let's make sure everything is tied up so we can enjoy the celebration without any worries. Let's tackle another group of phrasal verbs, Sarah. I'll provide detailed explanations and examples for each to help you grasp their usage.
I'm ready, Mr. Davis. What's the first one?
The first phrasal verb is venture out. This means to leave a safe place and go into an unknown or potentially dangerous area, often for adventure or discovery. For example, if you decide to leave your house during a storm to explore or fulfill a necessity, you're venturing out into the storm.
So, if I decide to go hiking in the woods far from my usual trails, I'm venturing out?
Exactly, Sarah. It's about going somewhere new or risky. Next, we have vamp up. This phrase is less commonly used in everyday conversation but means to improve something, making it more attractive, interesting, or effective. For instance, if you take an old piece of furniture and refurbish it to look modern and stylish, you're vamping it up.
Like if I take a plain dress and add some cool designs to make it stand out, I'm vamping it up?
Precisely. It's about giving something a new, improved look or feel. Now, let's discuss wind down. This means to relax or settle down after being very active or busy. It can also refer to gradually concluding activities as you approach the end of something, like the end of a day or a project.
So, if I take a hot bath after a long day of school and sports, I'm winding down?
That's right, Sarah. It's about easing into a state of relaxation. Lastly, we have go through. This phrasal verb has several meanings, including to examine or search within something, to endure an experience or process, and to use up something completely.
If I'm looking through my closet to find a specific shirt, I'm going through my clothes? And if I have a tough time at school, I'm going through a hard time?
Exactly, Sarah. It can refer to both the physical act of searching and the emotional process of experiencing something. You've done an excellent job understanding these phrasal verbs. They're quite useful for expressing actions and experiences. How do you feel about them now?
I feel a lot more comfortable with them, Mr. Davis. Your explanations make them easy to understand. I'll try to use them.
I'm glad to hear that, Sarah. Practice will make these phrasal verbs become second nature to you. Keep up the good work and don't hesitate to experiment with using them in your conversations. Ready for more lessons?
Yes, I am. Thanks for making English so engaging, Mr. Davis.
You're welcome, Sarah. Your willingness to learn and apply what you've learned is commendable. I look forward to our next session. Keep up the fantastic work.
Oliver, I think it's time we venture out and explore that new hiking trail by the lake. What do you say?
That sounds like a great idea, Mia. I've been wanting to venture out more now that the weather's nicer. Plus, it'll be a good break from the usual routine.
Exactly my thought. And I was thinking, maybe we could vamp up our gear a bit? Get some new hiking boots or backpacks?
I like that. A little vamping up could make the trip more exciting. Plus, my old gear could use an upgrade.
After we venture out on Saturday, how about we wind down at that new cafe downtown? I've heard they have the best smoothie bowls.
Oh, that's perfect. A good wind-down spot is exactly what we'll need after a day of hiking.
Yeah. Speaking of winding down, how have you been holding up lately? I know you've been going through a lot with work and everything.
Thanks for asking, Mia. It's been a rough patch, but I'm getting through it. Taking it one day at a time. This weekend plan of ours is actually something I'm really looking forward to.
I'm glad to hear that. Sometimes, stepping away and going through new experiences is the best way to deal with stress.
Definitely. And I'm lucky to have a friend like you to venture out with. It makes going through life's ups and downs a bit easier.
Always, Oliver. Can't wait for our adventure. Let's make a list of what we need to vamp up and start planning properly.
Agreed. It's going to be a weekend to remember.